Greetings, peace, love and light to you all, family. Welcome to another YouTube video with me, your host, Mathix Mashangu. So now on today's video, first of all, before I get into that, let me thank you guys for, your participation. Thank you for those who, who comment and who interact and who engage with me. It makes this much more fun as you engage. It gives me that thing to know that people are not only listening, but then they're growing, and then they adding to their library of information. And I hope that you are applying what it is that you get on this channel. So now today I want to talk to you about secret societies. Woo! Secret societies. Yes, I'm gonna talk to you about secret societies real quick and demystify this whole thing, because this other day my little sister came to me in the kitchen. She's like, Mavic, yes, do you think Doja Cat is part of the Illuminati? She's in high school now. She's in grade 9. And I laughed a little because I'm like, oh, damn, she's at that stage. Because I remember when I was in high school, there were all these talks. Hey, Beyonce is in the Illuminati. She has this song, Umbrella, with Jay-Z. And in the song, they do this. That's the triangle of the Illuminati. And then you're like, yeah, what is that? Most people would think, no, it's devil worshipping and all of that. So when you come into spiritual knowledge, you begin to peel back the layers, and you see that most of these things are rooted in, first of all, they're rooted in lies, in misinformation. They're rooted in scaring people so that they shy away from what was at the core of these so-called secret societies. Now, secret societies are not a new thing. They are a very ancient thing. And this may come as a shock to you, but also, again, by this point, you should know, man, there's nothing new under the sun. And when you're going to talk about things that are old, you cannot look past black people, because they were the original, secret society members. Now, there's 2 levels of secret society that I would want to talk to you about. The first one is that when in ancient times, they weren't so much as a secret, whereas the information was there, but people were not spiritually vibrating as to an inner harmonic state. They hadn't reached the frequency where they could understand certain information. So the ancients masked certain spiritual truths and spiritual knowledge in the form of art, in the form of hieroglyphics, in the form of certain practices, certain games. So on a surface level, you would see that you would only see the surface of something, but to the initiated, they would see a deeper meaning behind certain games, behind certain songs, behind certain buildings. So there was a level that one had to reach internally through certain rituals and certain practices that they had to be disciplined in. They had to be a disciple of a certain discipline. So you had to belong to basically a school of thought. But what the ancients were doing is that the original secret societies were about elevating. They were about alchemy. They were about not just turning lead into gold. That became the later thing when Europeans found these ancient texts and these ancient hieroglyphics and writings and stone tablets, and they came across all these things in terms of now where they saw how these people were speaking about alchemy. They thought that it was about turning actual lead into gold, which you do that. They've created CERN and all of these things where they bombard atoms and particle accelerators where they turn, lead into gold. But they're missing the point once again. These were not physical things. The turning the lead into the gold was turning the base element into a higher element, which would be gold. So basically it would be transforming the lower vibratory body, the base body, the 6 protons, 6 neutrons, 6 electrons, and taking the beastly body, your lower nature, and then turning it through certain techniques such as breathing meditations and certain dances and rituals, and then elevating them into the crown area or into the crown region, where now you would reach what they call Christ consciousness, which is where illumination takes place, which is where being anointed now takes place. So that was the original so-called secret societies. It wasn't really a secret in the sense that there were just two beings. There was the neophyte. The neophyte is someone who is new to a certain discipline. And then there were the masters, the adepts, the ones who were already experienced in walking that path. So the one who was experienced in walking the path would seem to a normal person that that person, they're in a secret society because they know something that the rest of the I'm still recording, right? They know something that the rest of the population doesn't know. So what happened is that now when Africa got invaded and the different people, the Hyksos and the Greeks and the Romans and all of these things, the Arabs, and when they came into Africa, what happened is that they started, number one, to attack Africa in many different aspects. They attacked it physically, and then they also attacked it spiritually. So they attacked it in a sense that when now they were invading and bringing in new concepts of religion, whereas what you knew of as Pythagoras, Aristotle, and all of these people, these were first and foremost students of ancient Kemet or ancient Egypt. Right? And Egypt is in Africa. That's something that you should always know. So they were students. They learned at the feet of the melanated people. They learned at the feet of black people, right? And when they went back to their so-called countries where now they went to become these people who were, they were the new thinkers, what happened is that they were first and foremost rejected. So they said that they were coming with new thoughts and a new type of thing, and they were rejected. It was only later that Aristotle and then Pythagoras and these people were now deified in the sense that, these were the original, these were the people who pushed civilization forward. But they had learned all these secrets at the feet of African people. So now, when Africa was being invaded, the priests, the shamans, the men of knowledge, the people who, the leaders of certain cultures and tribes, they, first and foremost, they knew, because they had the gifts of prophecy and foresight, they knew that a force was coming, number one, to begin with. So what had happened is that they now decided to take this knowledge underground. So now they decided to take this knowledge underground because they knew that if they don't do so, this knowledge would be lost forever. So that's why certain secret societies began. It was a means to preserve knowledge, ancient knowledge. It was a way to preserve ancient mystical spiritual knowledge, which when now the Christian church was invading and taking over all the world with this new concept of an external Christ and an external Jesus and this external based Christianity, these intelligent men, they were like, hey Joe, took the knowledge, went underground, and then formed these certain secret societies where they would be passing down the knowledge orally throughout the ages, awaiting a time when the world would be in the state that it's in now, where people will now be waking up again. So when it comes to the secret societies of nowadays, your Knights Templars, your Skull and Bones, your Freemasons, your Rosicrucians, the Illuminati, all of these things, at the core, they still have at their core what the ancient African secret societies were dealing with, and that is spiritual enlightenment. So I'll give you an example. When you look at Freemasonry has within it what they call degrees of knowledge, whereas the highest would be what they call the 33rd degree. So a 33rd degree Mason would be one who is at the highest. So he's the master of that particular school or that discipline. And then the ones at the lowest would be dealing with only a certain amount of knowledge. Now, the the secret societies of nowadays, most of them, they're about, money and like these secret clubs and chilling in lodges. Most of them don't know this knowledge that you are even hearing here right now. This spiritual knowledge, most of them just deal with, golfing, and they're like, oh no, I have a ring, I belong to this secret society. But they don't know the higher knowledge of what happens in the upper echelons of these secret societies. Because most of them, number one, as I'm saying, they were based on a certain knowledge, a certain spiritual occult knowledge. Occult means hidden, number one. That's the thing. When they say that something is occult, the word occult just means that it's hidden. It's something that is not known. So at the base, at the core of these secret societies is spiritual ancient African knowledge, spiritual knowledge that was passed down. So you have your Freemasons, which deal with degrees. So the ones at the highest point would be the ones who have access to a higher level of knowledge that the rest would not have access to. And now you gain height in these certain secret societies by doing certain things. Most of what they are doing today is very demonic. It's child sacrifice, blood rituals and all of these things, because over time these things got lost in translation, because we had just been coming out of the dark ages, number one, to begin with, right? So your Freemasons, they have the degrees. These are the degrees of knowledge. And as I'm saying again, these were taken or derived from the original secret societies, because number one, look at the word secret. The word secret comes also from secretion. You have glands in your body which secrete certain hormones, which secrete certain fluids. And these fluids and just as your kidneys secrete adrenaline, right? They give you that fight or flight response. You have your pineal gland that secretes melatonin and serotonin. You have your thyroid. You have your adrenal gland, as I mentioned. You have your thymus. So you have different glands. These glands are also where now the chakras. So the glands would be the physical manifestation of the chakras, which are on an ethereal level, right? So the glands secrete secrets, because when certain glands become activated, such as the pineal gland and the hypothalamus gland, what happens is that the brain frequency, what happens is that your body begins to change and you become anointed by the inner oil, right? You become anointed by the inner oil. You open up what they call the 7 seals of the Bible, which are the 7 chakras, or Istunya, right? The 7 stars, the 7 lampstands, the 7 eyes, the 7, or whenever you see that 7, they're talking about this. So secret is secretion. The word sacred also comes from, at the base of your spine, you have this bone which is in a shield-like structure. It's called the sacrum. That is where it's said that the Kundalini energy, that is where it said that the Shechem fire is laying dormant, or the Umbilini, as they call it in Southern Africa. That is where that dormant primal energy is laying dormant, at the sacrum. So the sacrum was said to be sacred, because there's that energy that brings you into enlightenment. So all the knowledge of the ancients was due to people who brought the knowledge in, because they were tapped into higher levels of spirituality. And so now they could leave things in books and hieroglyphics and build pyramids, because they had ascended to a new level of being because of an open and expanded pineal gland. So over time, when Africa got invaded, these uninitiated people got a hold of the knowledge. They got a hold of the knowledge. And then when they began now to create and structure secret societies such as Freemasonry, they started to disguise spiritual knowledge under the disguise of certain arts or disciplines, such as buildings. Certain architectural buildings are of a Freemasonic nature, meaning that the building itself is a secret. Just as when you walk in most churches, you would see that the door has the shape of what they call the vesica piscis, which is when you take a circle and then you overlap them. That which is created in between, that's called the vesica piscis, which is also now what they call the portal, which is the vagina, which is the portal into and out of dimensions, right? Because it is the number one. Check this out again. The original Masons, the original secret society people in the world were women. They were the ones who were the carriers of knowledge. Women were the ones who were the highest of the highest. So men actually in the past had to be initiated into knowing secrets that women were born knowing. But we'll talk about that another day. We'll talk about that. The women were the carriers and the creators of most of what you know of as these mystical truths. That's why you see most secret societies, it's just men, because there's this egotistical thing that the European came in with and at the time, because number one, listen, they were uninitiated, and now all of a sudden they're getting this truth, and they're like, oh my God, oh, these people used to deal like this, these people used to deal like this. Oh, they actually revered the woman and knew what the woman was. So when they came into Africa, they saw how we treated the woman as being the most sacred of things. And so now them not understanding that, they started to demonize the woman and then shun her out of these so-called secret societies. And now they later became just a thing for men. But the original secret societies were a thing of knowledge, right? A thing of knowledge, passing down knowledge throughout the ages. Masonry. To be a mason is a builder, a master builder. The original builders, the master masons, who builds you, who gives you your bodies, the mother. Those were the original mother masons, or the original masons. A mason, ma, M-A-S-O-N, the mother and the son. Ma, mason, the mother and the son, the builder. But then of course, to create a complete thing, you'd have to have hot and cold, or electricity and magnetism, or positive and negative. And then those two create life which is you. The ancient, what they would do, ancient Africans, they would disguise, as I said, they would disguise certain knowledge in games, in songs, in mythology. If you are a person who was dealing with carpentry, number one, let's say Jesus for an example. They say that Jesus was a carpenter. So Jesus would hide knowledge in the types of work that he was doing. If you were a person who built boats, you would create the boat in such a way that the boat would be created according to certain geometric lines and numbers and Fibonacci sequences that someone who is initiated would see a deeper meaning in just a boat. Someone, when they were looking at it, who was uninitiated, they would just think, oh, that's a boat. Just as most people, when they go to church, they don't know that design of the door is a symbol. It's a sacred geometric symbol which symbolizes the vesica piscis, which is a portal. The windows are created in a Fibonacci sequence. The whole structure, what you call the obelisk. When you look at Washington, D.C., it's a replica of what they got in ancient Egypt. There's what they call the Temple of Man in Kemet, where a building is constructed according to the human design. So you had a place where the general public would meet. You had a place called, so you had a much more sacred place that represented the chest region, and then you had a place that now represented what they call the holies. And then there's a secret even in there which called now the Holy of Holies. So they created the Temple of Men in Luxor according to the human design. So when you see the obelisks and the Sphinx and the pyramids and all of these temples were an imitation or they were a replica of the human body, because the original temple of God was the body, or the original temple of God is the body. God is dormant, or God is laying in this temple, not the temples outside. The temples outside were created as a means to teach people and remind them of this temple. So when these people got a hold of this knowledge, they started to create these secret societies where now they were now using propaganda and media to control the world using ancient secret knowledge, spiritual knowledge. But now they inverted all of that and now we're using it for malevolent purposes, to control and to mass hypnotize humanity using these very ancient sacred symbols. So when you look at certain cars or brands, these are like the car Dodge, that Ram, that's Aries. When you look at Saturn, the Nike, when you look at Nike, the brand, that's the ring of Saturn at the corner. And Saturn is the planet that deals with time. It also deals with karma. It also, you see, so most of these brands and their logos are dealing with ancient symbols that speak to your subconscious mind. So sometimes you be going to these stores and you don't know that these people are hitting you. They are hitting you and attracting you on a subconscious level. Starbucks. But I could go into most of what these things are, but Apple. That apple in the Garden of Eden. Come on. All of these symbols, all of these signs are created by men who know certain things. These things which are your birthright to know. It's your birthright to know that you are God. It's your birthright to know that you are a goddess and that you are a higher being. But this knowledge is being hidden from you. And there are secret societies also, such as the Ku Klux Klan and other types of secret societies that are invested in the world not knowing the truth, the real truth of where the world has been, of who black people were. So hence now they go out of their way to hide the history of the black people, to hide the history of who the original masters and mothers of civilization is. Because when people don't know the truth, then they can keep perpetuating this whole lie that, these people never knew nothing. They just come from nothing. They had nothing. They will always be nothing. So these secret societies, they are also the ones involved in child sacrifice and in human trafficking, because now they are not spiritually initiated. They are using inverted techniques and methods to try and acquire knowledge that the ancients had. They're trying to break through and get the secrets of the universe. Some of them have these books, like for example in the Vatican. They say that in the Vatican they have over 8 floors underground with just stolen ancient architecture and books. In the Vatican. Why do you think in the museums in Europe, most of those museums are full of stolen African art and so many things, pottery, zodiac signs, and man, it's just they have no creation of their own in their own museums. So, and that's just what they show to the public. Now, can you imagine what it is that they stole that they are not showing to the public? So that's what they use to now run the world. And you see some of these secrets, they put them out in cartoons such as The Simpsons and in Family Guy, where they mock the world, where they show you that they're doing these things. But then because the world is so oblivious and ignorant, and they think that Kanye West and Jay-Z is part of the Illuminati, they miss the deeper truth. Because even this sign, the eye on the dollar bill, that's the eye of Horus, the all-seeing eye, which is the pineal gland, the spiritual eye. So now when people see one eye, they panic. Oh, Illuminati. When they see a triangle, they panic. When they see everything. Because why? People fear that which they don't understand. And these people know this. So they put out these things, and then they know that because you don't know what it is, you're going to shun away from it. But at the core of these secret societies is spiritual knowledge and enlightenment. That's why it's called the Illuminati, the illumination one, the illuminated one. That's what the original purposes of some of these so-called secret societies were about. There were secret societies that belonged to those who carried the knowledge of illumination, or knowledge that could illuminate you and take you into a new level of being, take you from base body material to a new state, diamond, crystalline, spiritual body. So that's what most of these secret societies were so-called dealing with. Even if you were to look at, let's say now, the Bible, whether you want to think it's real or not, Jesus, if you want to think it was real, he was an occultist, because number one, occultism saying it's hidden. He was dealing with two things. He spoke in parables, so he was an occultist, because to the masses he spoke one way, and to his disciples he just told them flat out, yo, Joe, we're gods, and we're trapped in this body, and we have to alchemize, and we have to do certain things in order to illuminate. And then they asked him, like, yo, man, why do you talk in parables to the others? And he's like, yo, bro, it's because they won't understand. Don't give what is holy to swine, bro. And then he told them, some can only have, BC. They're not ready for meat. The meat is nothing but just that hard truth that when you bite into the truth, they say the truth is hard. That's why most people fear the truth, because it's like, oh, damn. It's hard. Because once you know that you're God, it's like, oh, what do you do with that? It's like, oh my God, I'm powerful. It's like, that's scary, man. Like, so you'd rather give your power to the Pope or to the church and to, give someone else the stress of your eternity. No, the prophet will deal with that for me. But now, all of a sudden, everything comes back to you. There's no God to blame. There's no Satan to blame. Everything is you. You are both good and bad. You are both negative and positive. And now everything comes back to you. And most people don't want to deal with that. You see? So these so-called secret societies, they know. And your Rosicrucians, your Knights Templars, and all of them, Skull and Bones, most of them have a root in African knowledge. They have a root in ancient African knowledge. Because African knowledge, number one, is vast. It's vast. So, even if you were to check out I was checking out this video in I think it's Ghana, with the voodoo, that whole practice. There's this spinning, I forgot the name, but then when they open this particular thing that spins, there's nothing inside. But now, Africans now, when some of these things that Africans do, man, it's like if I was someone else, man, I would also be like, hey, these people are creepy, bro. Like, damn, man, it's just like the amount of, sometimes I look at, I look at how much the world attacks African people, and it makes sense. Because you would want to keep someone so powerful down, but you can't stop what is inevitable. They can't stop your awakening. Whether they want to put it in a secret society or they're going to put it, you're going to wake up. It's inevitable. You have to wake up. You will wake up. It may not be in this lifetime, but you will wake up. So what I will say to you is that don't concern yourself with secret societies and what they're doing and all of it. Concern yourself with you. I'm going to tell you something, right? It's not even a secret on my channel. You are the beginning and the end of all these things. It's about your enlightenment. You're coming to God. You're coming to deity on a personal level, not vicariously through someone else, not vicariously through me. My channel is just there to provide you with information. Don't follow me. You can't follow me. Oh, subscribe. That's cool. Yes. I want subscribers. I gotta get that bag from YouTube. They gotta give me all of these things. But that's external stuff. That's external. What's this word I'm looking for? Insignificant, right? Or now when we're talking on a higher level, it's insignificant. How many subscribers and whatnot. But the greatest thing that you should do is you don't follow nobody. there's teachers and masters and people that because you won't just know all these things on your own. So I'm not saying don't learn for people, learn, but then always be discerning. It doesn't matter who it is, discern yourself. Always, because we learn by each other. You know, I take from you, you take from me. I'm like, "Alright, this I don't want, this okay, this I want." You integrate, you build yourself. You're like puzzle pieces. You're connecting, but you don't follow someone and make them the all and end all. It's good to have people who you look up to. Be like, "Oh man, oh, teach me, master," because there's master and student relationships all throughout the universe. But the master is the student and the student is the master all at the same time. You see, all at the same time. Don't get lost in a messiah complex where now you want to follow people. Where you want to follow people because you think that they're going to save you. So the greatest thing that I'm going to tell you, that what secret societies, what they are really dealing with is enlightenment and transmutation of the body. Don't be concerned with like money, Jay-Z, Kanye West, and all these things. No. The greatest good that you can do is to elevate and awaken your own soul and elevate your own soul through living a righteous life, being nice. Just genuinely be nice and kind because you raise your vibration. Be loving. Practice forgiveness. Sing, dance, walk around in nature, drink water, eat nice food. Sing, listen to good music, make love to your lover, enjoy life, call your grandmother, call your cousins every once in a while. You don't need to belong to a secret society. These very little things that I'm telling you are huge on a soul level. These are what awaken you. You don't need to sacrifice a baby. Breathe. You don't need to go and just be nice. Just be dope, man. Just be amazing. And that's it. That's all you need. Read there and there. Research. Don't need to go carry a snake or eat a frog. Nah, just be. Just be. And when you are being, the universe is gonna come to you and it's gonna give you, it's gonna give you all this juice that's just gonna blow your mind when you start knowing what life is about. So things that these people are sacrificing, babies and doing all these dark things are about, you will get them just by chilling in your bed. You will get them just by chilling in your bed, chilling with your friends, calling your grandmother. Your grandmother will tell you some of the most deepest things that you wouldn't hear in these lodges. Because the greatest secrets are what are being secreted inside of your glands in these secretions. You are the greatest secret. You are a mystery unto yourself. You are the greatest mystery. You are the greatest secret. You are the secret society. The way I'm ending this like it was a poem or something. Peace, family. Much love and light to you all. Thank you. You are the secret society.